Welcome to the session titled How Can I Keep From Singing, presented by Susan Domer. Susan Domer is a choral director at Unity Braxton Middle School, and she is also the co-founder of a choir called Forgetful Friends Chorus. She's co-founder along with Connie Young. Susan is here to present to us today about the Forgetful Friends Chorus and some of her experiences, and I look forward to hearing what she has to say. So here she is, Susan Domer.
Thank you, Amy. Hello, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. Today, my presentation is about a chorus that we founded 6 years ago, based on a choir that we put together for one time. It was supposed to be a 2 rehearsal, 1 performance, Alzheimer's walk chorus, and it's turned out to be so much more than that. First of all, just some facts. You can read the screen yourself. I don't like reading to people, but Alzheimer's is something that is a big deal in our world. So many people are finding loved ones with Alzheimer's. And we know so much about the brain and Alzheimer's. We're finding out more and more information. And I always heard that music, was the last thing to go. You might lose speech. You might use the ability to remember things. But singing is something that comes and stays with us for the longest. So we know that events are kind of hardwired into your brain. Some of the music that you grew up with, the music that you may have learned when you were a baby, that all stays in our brains, in our hearts. You also have the music that is part of special memories. You hear a song and you have a memory that comes from that. And so when you're accessing music, you're pulling it out of that file, and that's what happens with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's. They're able to access some of those files, even when things that are happening today are not going to stick with them. One of our caregivers, Ron, had talked about in this screen about his wife, Jo. He's really cool. He's writing a book about her life, because this is a woman who has always sung in choirs. She was on an Olympic ski team, I think, or something like that. She's someone who was always active. And Jo knows the songs. She and Ron sing together and stand together in performances. And it's so fun to watch the two of them, because we find a cool song and the two of them will start holding hands, like "Let Me Call You Sweetheart," and they'll sing it to each other. But Jo's memory's going and gone in a lot of ways. And her voice is there sometimes, but the singing, she always kind of gets more animated when we're singing. And I think that Ron's quote, "Though the volume of her voice has decreased, the desire to sing has not." And I love that about her. This is one of the pictures of our choir. We joke that we do have all memory issues. I totally forgot in one of the beginnings of our first year, I missed a rehearsal. I just totally forgot. And no, I don't have Alzheimer's right now, but could be one of these days, who knows. But the thing is that you can't tell necessarily from looking at these singers who has a memory issue and who does not. And yet we have a former Olympic skier, a hog rider, and a man who has learned how to play the violin after his diagnosis with Alzheimer's. This is Jo and Ron, and Jo on the left-hand side was the skier, and Jeff in the middle, who has Parkinson's disease actually, was the hog rider. So this is at a performance that we did for Birmingham Green in Manassas. We like to do a lot of nursing home performances. Rachel's father, they started last year. He sang in different musicals. He knows a lot about musical, and he likes to know the facts of things. He likes to make sure that we're singing the right words and that we're doing all of the right things. And so I think that her quote about not having to worrying about the disease, it's something that they've done together and that they love. And so when they do our Zoom rehearsals now in this COVID-19 world, she often goes over to his house and they sit on the sofa and they sing together. Let's see. I wanted to just give you a quick view of a gentleman who was listening to some really good jazz music. And I think this video speaks for itself. You may have seen it. Let's see if this will come up.
I have one resident that barely opened her eyes. She didn't respond. As much as I tried, I knew her for 2 years. No matter what I tried, massage wouldn't work, nothing worked. But when we got introduced to the iPods and the family told me the things that she liked, it was amazing once we put the iPod on her. She started shaking her feet. She started moving her head. Her son was just amazed. Okay, can we stop? Because now I'm getting all, I'm seeing her all over again.
Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
Huh?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Fine. Wait.
Who am I?
I don't know. Wait a minute. I don't know.
Okay, it's Cherry. How long has he been in the nursing home? Approximately 10 years. He was having seizures, and my mother couldn't handle him at home. Of course, it affected me greatly because he was always, fun-loving, singing, every occasion he would come out with a song, no matter where he was. I remember as a child, he used to walk us down the street, me and my brother, and he would stop and do Singing in the Rain. He would have us jumping and swinging around poles. He was, he was good. He was always into music, always loved singing, dancing.
His name is Henry Dreyer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking more or less for religious music for him.
Okay.
Because he enjoys music and he always quotes in the Bible. So I'd rather have that for him.
We first see Henry inert, maybe depressed, unresponsive, and almost unalive.
Henry.
Yeah?
Henry.
Yes, sir.
I found your music. You want your music now?
What's up with you?
Okay, let's try your music, okay? And then you tell me if it's too loud or not.
Then he is given an iPod containing, we know, his favorite music. And immediately he lights up. His face assumes expression, his eyes open wide. He starts to sing and to rock and to move his arms, and he's being animated by the music.
And he used to always sit on the unit with his head like this. He didn't really talk to much people. And then when I introduced the music to him, this is his reaction ever since.
The philosopher Kant once called music the quickening art, and Henry is being quickened, he's being brought to life.
Yeah?
I'm going to take the music for 1 second, okay? Just to ask you a few questions. Okay? I'm going to give it back to you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The effect of this doesn't stop, because when the headphones are taken off, Henry, normally mute and virtually unable to answer the simplest yes or no questions, is quite voluble.
Henry,
Yeah?
do you like the iPod? Do you like the music you're hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about your music.
Well, I don't have one, I mean.
Do you like music?
Yeah, I'm crazy about music. You play beautiful music, beautiful sound. Beautiful.
Did you play music when you were, did you like music when you were young?
Yes, I went to big dances and things.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
Well, I guess, Cab Calloway was my #1 band guy I liked.
What's your favorite Cab Calloway song?
Oh, I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me with plenty of snow, mistletoe, present, wrapped around your tree. Ow!
So in some sense, Henry is restored to himself. He has remembered who he is, and he's reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
What does music do to you?
Give me the feeling of love. No man. Figure right now the world need to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music here. Beautiful, oh, lovely. And I feel the band of love, the dream. The Lord came to me, made me holy. I'm a holy man. So he gave me this sound. So they say, I meet you. Let me see. Rosalie, won't you love me? Rosalie, won't you be sweet and kind?
With this beautiful new technology, you can have all the music which is significant for you in something as big as a matchbox or whatever. And I think this may be very, very important in helping to animate, organize, and bring a sense of identity back to people who are out of it. Otherwise, music will bring them back into it, into their own personhood, their own memories, their own autobiographies.
So if people find music and it makes them waken, if you will, why not have a choir? Why not give them the opportunity to sing in a choir? And that's one of the reasons that we have the Forgetful Friends Chorus in Manassas, Virginia. This is another picture of us at a performance. We wear purple scarves because of the Alzheimer's purple. So we started as a one-time choir to participate in the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Literally, I got an email from my friend Connie Young, my church-going friend, and she said, I know you're busy, and this is probably crazy, but she said, you think we could put together a choir for the Alzheimer's Walk? And my mother-in-law had Alzheimer's and died of related complications. And I have been visiting a local nursing home. I used to have a group called the Joe 15 team. We would visit the nursing home once a month, and I always gravitate towards the memory care wing. It's just something that I have a heart for, I guess, especially with my mother-in-law's diagnosis. So we put together 2 songs and we practiced 2 times. We did the Getting to Know You and You'll Never Walk Alone. And we did our choir. We sang for that performance. We had a great time with that. And actually some people came up and said, wow, what is this? We could do this with our loved ones. So did we sort of morph into a choir? Absolutely. The first goals that I had, and really the only goals, were to make music and have fun. That's what I asked at the end of every rehearsal for a long time. Did you have fun? Did you make music? And we all gather after rehearsal. Connie Young is awesome. She brings snacks and things too. She's the heart and soul of our group. And so we gather and it's a community, and that's what it's about. With choir, we know that it's community. So we rehearse typically on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of every month at my church. Now we meet weekly on Zoom because of COVID-19. So we have just a sing-along. I mute everybody, like I'm sure all of you have to do if you're doing any kind of music online, and we sing. And so that's what it's about. Our theme song, I guess, if you will, is You'll Never Walk Alone, because this is a choir for people with Alzheimer's and brain injuries or diseases. Also caregivers, their caregivers can share, and we have volunteers, people who have had parents who have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, people that just have a heart for people with Alzheimer's. And so if someone is not a real singer, doesn't feel comfortable singing, we can always place them with a volunteer. How is it a choir? I do everything that I do with my regular choirs. We do our breathing exercises, we do stretches. I do like to use the counting where you're doing, that you inhale and sizzle for 8 beats or whatever. I like them to use their fingers to count because I can see kind of the progress of how they're doing. Someone who is deeper into the disease won't be able to touch fingers to thumb as easily as someone who is not. And so I can kind of see when they're doing that, how they're doing on a week-to-week basis. We do vocal warm-ups. We learn rhythm and pitches. Is everything in 2, 3, 4 part harmony? Absolutely not. We have done simple rounds and some simple harmony. Honestly, most of it is in unison because it's not the point of being an SATB choir or anything like that. The point is that we're singing music that is fun and gives them a connection. I work on diction with them. Dynamics, we've done a little bit of choreography, which is fun for all of us, especially since I'm not a dancer, so it works out for everybody. Are they reading music? Some are. Caregivers, a lot of them can read music, and some of them who read music when they were younger, but often just the words work, but a lot of rote. I try to choose music that has a connection to the members. And, you know, when I first started looking into the choir and what kind of music I should program, what I found out was there was like a specific area, like they're talking folk songs and things like that. And so one of the songs was I Love the Mountain. Da, 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 dum, 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 ba, dum, ba, dum. None of us knew it. I didn't know it. I assumed they would know it. So what might work for some groups didn't work for my group. I have done decades music. We did Lean on Me and Rock Around the Clock. That kind of hit some of those decades. And then I like to use music that they have offered up. Some of the songs, like the folk songs and I Love the Mountain, that was just kind of given as a suggestion. So we sing folk songs, patriotic music, decades, camp songs, hymns. It's not, there's no specific theme in mind. We do in March area, getting ready for March performances at nursing homes. We'll do some of the, you know, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. That has a real connection for Ron and Joe. We do music that has been suggested. One of the members, she used to sing Dona Nobis Pacem with her daughters. And so that was one of the pieces suggested. And one of my best memories of her, she had early Alzheimer's early onset. And about 3 weeks before she died, we had a performance for our Alzheimer's walk. And her husband brought her. It is a beautiful thing. They would sing together, and he would just stop and listen to her and just look and lean in and listen, because she used to sing in choirs and sing solos. She had a beautiful voice. But the Dona Nobis Pacem was one that she sang with me just before we were warming up for the presentation. And I just bent down and was singing with her a little bit, and she couldn't speak. She was not aware of where she really was. And she started singing with me. So that music that is connected to some thread of their life is something that will come back easier. We perform around Manassas area. We've gone as far as Gainesville and Haymarket area. We went into Alexandria. We were featured in a Dementia Caregivers conference in Alexandria. And so we did a presentation where, kind of a lecture presentation, which is how this was supposed to be. I actually had a yes from everybody when I wanted to present, and we were going to come and sing and perform for everyone. That didn't work out right now, but maybe next year. We love performing at Nathan's Dairy Bar because he always gives us free ice cream after we perform. We go into nursing homes, and we always make sure that we do part of our performance in the memory care wing, and we love that. I think it's very hard for the caregivers to see, you know, where the next step might be for their loved one, but it's really cool to see how our music really affects some of the people who are in our audience. Nurses have said, you know, Mrs. So-and-so doesn't talk, but I look there and she's singing. She knows all the words to the song that we're singing. And again, it's that musical connection that happens, and it's an honor to be able to present and to share that music with them. One of the things is that, you know, we look at, for example, Christmas time. So the first time we did a Christmas concert, and I'll be honest, I don't program full out Christmas music for my middle school just because not everybody, you know, sings Christmas music. But the first time I did, I was like, okay, we'll just do Christmas music. And then we realized, you know what, we need to include some Hanukkah songs. And so we did. And that was because we're trying to be inclusive of everyone. So, you know, you can see that we do make an impact on the residents, and that's a gift as well. I mean, we go into the nursing home, they love to see us, they love to sing the songs with us. And that's the other thing, is that if you have songs that kick memory for your members of the choir, it'll often reach the members of the audience. One of the things about Tom and Peggy, Tom was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, so he's only in his early 60s, I think. And he has learned how to play violin since then. They are very active. Peggy keeps them going and moving. They would go and play darts after they finish a rehearsal. But he doesn't have to worry about being judged for not being able to speak or to remember things, but he can sing and he can have a good time with this. Some of the volunteers, you can read their statements. They are touching. It's beautiful to see how the volunteers see being part of the choir. They enjoy singing as well, but it's also, I think some give back because they have parents that have had Alzheimer's and then passed away. And this allows them to share music and to also give to their community. Giving Voice Chorus was the model for Forgetful Friends. When we started 6 years ago, there were 5 choirs in the United States, and we were one of them, who were working with Alzheimer's patients and caregivers. And so Giving Voice was our model, and they were very helpful. They have a whole starting planning kit. I've got the address down at the bottom of the screen. You can just Google Giving Voice Chorus, and they will help you. You know, if you're interested in starting your own Alzheimer's choir, it's a great way to start. They have like a handbook for you to tell you what to do. They gave us some guidelines as to what music to sing, and just, you know, kind of a go, 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 do this, it's great. And so I highly advise checking out Giving Voice Chorus just for more information. I told you about the Donas Nobis Pacem with singing with Betsy. And so I think that for me personally, an experience like that, it just touches my heart to know that this music is still in there, and that it can still come out too. I think as a singer myself, you know, not being able to sing is one of the hardest things for me right now. I've been missing my kids, missing my choir members of adults and children choir members. And knowing that we will sing and can sing is something that's a gift for me. So our rehearsals now are on Zoom, and we mute everybody, and I sing and play, and we have a good time. We still have our little community time afterwards. We speak, we talk a little bit, we check in with everybody. Is it a normal time? No. Have we made it work? Absolutely, just as you are. The community for us, being able to have that time to stand around and talk, or at the end of the Zoom right now to visit and chat. We go into, when we do a nursing home visit or any kind of performance, we always walk and talk to the residents and to the members of the audience, and just you know, kind of just make them feel welcome and let them know that we appreciate being able to be there. So this is the choir, just some of the quick pictures of things, the walk for Alzheimer's, some rehearsals. This is part of our community. You know, Alzheimer's is a big, how do I say this? Alzheimer's itself affects so many people, and it can start in an early onset, and there's so many people who know someone who love or loved someone with Alzheimer's. The opportunity to work with a choir of Alzheimer's patients and caregivers is really a gift. We've lost members. That's hard, because in a typical choir situation, you won't necessarily lose so many people. One of the hardest things I think I've ever done was to have us perform at the funeral of one of our members. And yet it was a gift, because that was part of her community at the end of her life. It's something that I encourage. If you are interested in starting a choir, if you're interested in being part of a system like this, I think that it's the voice of our future, because frankly, there are so many people that are affected by Alzheimer's. We're just, you know, a little area in Manassas, but music itself is something that connects people with Alzheimer's and dementia, and it also can connect all of us as a community together. So it's not a performance choir in terms of what we might normally assume is a performance choir, but you can bet when we're singing and making music, we are a choir. I think that this is more of a gift to me rather than me having something that I'm giving to them. Just knowing that I'm going to get time with them makes me smile even after I've had a long day. I have fun picking out music for them. I have fun seeing how we make these connections vocally. And it's a lot of, there are so many things that the members are able to do. Stop screen share. So if you have any questions about what this is, I would love to connect with you. We'll put my email address in the chat box or wherever this is on Zoom. And I would love to be able to work with anyone who would like to start a choir, or if you just want to come and observe one of our rehearsals, I can get you in on a Zoom pretty easily. Or once we're able to sing again, I know that our choir will continue. I want to thank you for your time today and have a wonderful rest of the chorus.
Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing your voice and your mission and all the beautiful stories that are associated with it. Thank you.